Hello, it's me again. I've had a lot of people ask me regarding how I created the circle cube out of the crazy 3x3 series and this turny twisty thing over here. I actually think that these are called cross cubes, just to get the vernacular right. So I thought I'd just give you a little bit of a idea as to how I did it. It's really simple. All you need is a screwdriver and one of these things, these little clamps that could grab and destroy. So what I did is, by getting the Mercury cube, as you can see with Mercury, whoa, can you see that? I don't know. But anyway, with the Mercury cube, it's not even much try. Yeah, so every one of them is a 0, which means the centers don't move except for 1, which does move. And you've got the Jupiter, which is just the opposite. So you could just swap those centers. Swapping those centers are pretty easy. Basically what I did is, originally this didn't move, so I had to swap it with the center. These are fairly easy to pop off. See? Pops off. Now when it pops off, you're going to notice something in here, which is a little piece of paper. I thought it was trash, but don't throw it away, because when you pop it off, this actually provides enough tension in there so that it doesn't come off easily. But if you take this out now, it's really just a matter of screwing this off with the right screwdriver. There you go. Let's try that again. Screwing this off. How did that go? Right, tight, left, loose. This isn't the best screwdriver to use. No, that didn't work. How about this guy? Well, we'll turn this here and no, not quite. Alright, you. Alright. There we go. Now you... Actually, I'm just kidding. You could easily use this. But basically, screw this off here. And... Now notice this is red, and that's because this Jupiter cube, its center that I switched was the red side. And it doesn't really matter because the cap is going to look white. So even if you get two cubes that don't have the same center colors, it doesn't matter because it's the cap that's going to be the color that you're going to see. Basically, when this is screwed off here, should have used the power one. Anyway, taking this off here, make sure you've got your washers and your springs. It usually has like 2 washers on the bottom there. And then you can pull the center out. There we go. My finesse is equaled only by my coordination. Anyway, what you see here, if you look here, this has kind of a sort of an oval bottom over here. This oval bottom means that it goes all the way down to the bottom in there so that it's latched into place. So that's what this is. Now if you look at the side that, so that'll keep the center in place and keep it from turning. If you look at the side, if you look at the type of center that doesn't do that, and I don't actually have an example of that, this is brought up and it looks more squared. So it doesn't engage the mechanism or get bandaged at the bottom, which means that the whole thing turns like a normal side. So all I did was swap those two sides, put that in, and I substituted the one that's you know, kind of square at the top but not oval at the bottom with this one, so it's able to become a circle cube. And if I can do it, trust me, anyone can do it. So I'm going to plop that back in there and making sure, with great feats of skill and dexterity, to replace it back into the center. And then basically screw it back on. There we go. Now you're talking. And then it's just a matter of getting it back on. And you'll want to adjust your tension. Kind of hold it still so that it doesn't rotate the way that it rotated with me. See right there. And then it's going to be fixed in place like that. And you may want to, like I say, adjust the tension. Make sure you put this back on. There we go. So I basically just screwed it back on, and you can see it moves pretty nicely there. Once you do that, take your piece of paper back. If you lose it, any piece of paper will do. Put it in the center there, and that provides enough tension to where this won't pop out. If you don't do that, then this centerpiece will end up popping out. Put that in place, and you've got yourself a modified circle cube with all the benefits that you get therein just by circle cube. Now, what about the cross cube? Well, so here's what I did with that. This is what turned into the cross cube here. So what I did is again take this off. You can see that this used to be the white side of the Mercury cube. And I'm just going to take this off. Oh, the piece of paper is not there. And yet it works. No kidding. Anyway, I'm going to take this off. And here's what I did. What I did is... Sit, stay. Good boy. Oh, thank goodness for video editing. Ha! Okay. My washers were there. Get out of there. Okay, so anyway, notice that this doesn't have anything there, because what I did is I took that side and I cut it all down. If it's all the way down to the bottom, it'll engage the entire center here so that the center won't turn. If it's a little bit up and squared, it won't engage the center, but it'll keep it turning along with that side. But if you cut it down even further, looks like this is whited out or something, but if you cut it down even further, then basically it won't engage the center at all and it can turn. And what I did, well, here's what you don't do. Don't get a knife and start cutting like that. Please don't do that. You're going to cut yourself, and I don't want anyone getting injured as a result of this. So take one of these little things here, and I basically just clamped it here, kept myself far away, and pushed down until the whole thing popped off. And it popped off really well. It still maintained this opening over here. And then what I did is just reapplied it back, and I was able to get the cross cube. Okay, so now that I've cut it down in a safe way, I just put this back in here, apply my screw back in, screw it back in, kind of stabilize it here so that the center doesn't keep turning on you, and you want to adjust your tension. You want to adjust your tension well so you can see that it can move pretty freely. You don't want it to move too loose, but you want it to move fairly freely. Yeah, so maybe a little bit more there. Yeah, see, the more tension I put on, the harder it is going to turn. So I'm just going to loosen it just a little bit. And sit, stay. Got a mind of its own. And so it's able to turn. And what I did is I went to each one of these centers. It was a little cumbersome, and did the same thing. Pull it off, cut it down, and put it back. Didn't take that long. Took a little bit less time than you think. Cover it up here, and what you have is your cross cube, and it works very well. So a good addition to the puzzle. So what I would recommend, if you wanted to do that, go ahead and get your Mercury cube, go ahead and get your Jupiter cube, and make those adjustments. If you wanted to get cross cubes, or not cross cubes, if you want to get every different variation of the different kind of cubes, then what you may want to do is get something that has all three, or something that has three that are fixed and three that are circle cubes. And I guess an example of that would be like a Saturn, because notice that Saturn has 3 1s and 3 0s right over there. And I guess the Neptune, yeah, Neptune, same thing. So what you can do is if you buy a Neptune and a Saturn, you can just swap sides and get every type of cube that there is. So that way you buy 4 cubes. One can be your cross cube, and the other can be your pure circle cube, and 2 can swap. Or ideally you can maybe buy 3 cubes. 1 could be any one, you just chop it all down, and then 2 can be whatever you want. So hope that's helpful. If that's not too clear and you think that I should use tools better, let me know, but be safe.